Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Gary Holt from Exodus and formerly from Slayer, and you're listening to The Razor's Edge.
What's going on, guys? It's Tom here from The Razor's Edge, and I'm here with Braden Barrie, aka Say We Can Fly. How are you, sir? You well?
I'm doing absolutely good. How are you?
I'm very well. Thank you for asking. It never seems to come up, so I really appreciate that massively. Why is it, Braden, that every time you release something, no matter what it is, it's always absolute gold?
I don't know, man. I think like a big part of it is I just always I have to be really happy with it, you know? Like if it makes me feel something that's, I can only release it if it's hit that mark, I guess. So I just have a really high standard for myself, I guess. Maybe that's why, but I appreciate that. So
No, not at all. I feel it's good, like I did, because you get quite a few artists that go, "Oh, let's just bash out an album a year. Let's just get it out, because we're under pressure from whoever or whatever." But I can really appreciate an artist or a band that take the time out to actually go, "No, if I'm happy with it when I'm releasing it, why would I want to? That's got to go under my name. That's got to be out there in the world forever." And some people could be like, "Oh, this is a bit, this is not really the sound that," or that. I don't know. I'm not a musician, so I'm just spouting shit now. But yeah, literally, obviously, I started listening to 2015, and I find that everything you've released, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, he can do no wrong.
thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, I've always felt the same way with bands I listen to. And, there's like sometimes a point where you like hear they've kind of lost touch with their, like why you started listening. And I understand everyone has their growth, but for me, it's always been very important that I don't lose that touch with myself, I guess, if that makes any sense. Because I know other people, so yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with you. But let's go all the way back. Let's go back to the beginning. What actually made you want to be a musician? What got you into music in the first place?
Yeah, honestly, that's something I kind of blindly answer a lot. I've never really asked myself why, but I think honestly, man, it was just like I didn't have much going on in my life when I was younger. Like I lived in a really small town, I went to like a private Christian school, didn't have any friends. I was just like, didn't really know what I was doing, but I found like music online, like when we got a computer and got the internet, we had one of those like old, like massive computers, and dial up internet. But I found this website called Pure Volume, which is kind of similar to like, I don't even know what to compare it to, but it was just, people it's kind of like MySpace, but for music, just people make a profile and post their songs on there. And I found that, and I found like Never Shout Never and like Chase Coy and the Icarus account. And I was just like, man, these guys are just like making music like from their bedrooms and posting it. And I don't know, I don't know, man. I started playing guitar and writing songs, and it was just like I fell in love with it because it just brought me out of like all the stuff I was going through. It was a constant in my life, and I didn't really have a moment when I was like, I want to be like a rock star musician. I was just like, I just love this, and it's the only thing I can do. Like, so I don't know if that answers it, but just kind of fell in my lap and it's been there ever since. So
yeah, I never look back, sort of thing. Yeah, that's great. Would you say like Icarus account and Never Shut Never, are they like influences?
Massively, man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like obviously it's different now, it changes as you grow. But when I started out, man, it was just the guys with their acoustic guitars, and, I was just like, wow, that's possible. Like, that's so cool, so made me feel like I could do it, I guess. So,
yeah, no, absolutely. Where did the name Say We Can Fly come from? What made you want to go with that?
Literally, man, just, I was, I was like, I got to make a YouTube channel. Wanted a one word kind of Never Shout Never-ish kind of name. Like, I'm trying to think of other bands that had the one word, like the one word with a bunch of different words. And that was the first one I thought of, and it wasn't taken. So I was like, all right, that's my channel name, and started putting out. I didn't like my real name back then for some reason. I thought it sounded stupid. So I was like, I'm just going to release music under a different name. It's a weird thing I had, but since then I've come to terms with it. But yeah, it's just a fleeting thought. I think just because the name Braden, like I never met anyone with that name. I was just like, it was weird. Everyone calls me Brandon. So I was like, I don't know. I just didn't like, not that I care now, but back then I was, struggled with it. I struggled with a lot of things back then, but yeah. So that's the story.
Yeah, but it's like it's quite unique, isn't it, in a way? Because I've never met anybody called Braden until obviously I interviewed you a few years back. Well, I said listened to you, sorry, more so.
Yeah.
But like it's unique to you. So like in a way, I find because my name is one of those common names in the world. So obviously fucking loads of people have it. Whereas you, like it's unique to you. So it's I don't know. I think I can see why you felt the way you did, but in a way I'd be like, this is awesome because nobody else has called this.
Yeah, no, and that's kind of something I had to just like, and I've always also thought like, well, a name is just. I had this realization like a name is just a sound, you know. So it's like I don't know. I just gotta enjoy the sound I was given and own it. You know what I mean? So if that makes any sense.
No, absolutely, man, absolutely. So you say like the acoustic out never shall never is how you found like acoustic guitars and that sort of thing. Is that because of them? Is that what made you want to go down the acoustic road? Why didn't you go for like a big band or anything like that?
I think that I think that was part of it. And it was just like anytime I had like tried to be in a band or play electric guitar, it just didn't feel the same. Like I just fell in love with acoustic guitar, um, specifically, you know. So I tried to like jam with friends and stuff, but it was always just like I'm not able to fully express what I want to with other people around. Like I just can't. Still to this day, you know, I write by myself. I record, you know, majority of stuff, or at least do all the pre-production alone, because it's just like I'm digging for a certain part of my soul or myself, and I just have to do it alone. I don't know, and that's why I make music is to like express that. So, and I, you know, I've played in full bands. I've done like full band tours, and it's fun. It's just not, you know, this is not the same. So, and not something that really fulfills me as much, I guess.
Yeah, because you are like bearing yourself out to everybody up there on your own. Obviously, when you're doing shows and whatnot.
Yeah.
So massive respect because obviously that shit's daunting to be when you start out like doing that all by yourself, not having you haven't got a partner or a band or anyone to back up. It's literally just you, a guitar, your voice, and then the people just there like staring.
Dude, so it was hard, man, and it still is hard, man. Yeah, like especially when I was younger and I was so quiet, I couldn't talk to anyone, and like it was hard because I used to open for a lot of pop punk and like even metal shows, and I was like imposter syndrome, man. Like, oh, no one wants me here, you know. And I still have that, but then you just hit a point where you just let that go and you just own what you're doing and you do it for the sake of it, you know.
So. Yeah. I mean, everyone's got to start somewhere, haven't they, at the end of the day? So, I mean, I think there was a metal band, Murder Dolls, opened up for Iron Maiden. And I'm talking like arena shows, and like they got bottled and heckled and everything. So obviously they're in makeup and like red and black dreadlocks, that sort of thing. And it's odd. And sometimes I think when bands get put with certain, it's kind of an odd mix. But you've got to try and reach the crowds, reach the masses, as it were. So I think sometimes some people can be quite fickle with the things they like, but as you get older, obviously everyone's just like, fuck me, like I love NSYNC or Backstreet Boys, or I love, whereas when you're younger, you're like, oh my God, I actually really like this song, but I can't tell anybody because, it's like taboo.
Absolutely, man. And I feel like a lot of this kind of music scenes that they're like very cliquey, like, so there was kind of that separation. I never cared about that, but yeah, so it was a challenge, but it's just, you just go through that, so.
Yeah. Well, look at you now. So how do you find lyrics-wise then? How do you find to write about? I know a lot. They're quite personal songs, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely.
So, like, do you feel that your lyrics, obviously, they're things that you've experienced, what you've gone through, but like they also help others at the same time?
I guess like I never to this day, I've never thought about like, oh, I need to help somebody with this song. Like I feel like if I go into it with that, it's just like not authentic. So I write genuinely to like help myself through stuff. And I think maybe doing that to the best of my ability is, a byproduct of that. It might help other people, but I really do it as like self, like therapy or trying to understand things I've gone through because it helps in a way. I don't know why, but so that's always been why I do it and like probably always will be, So
I suppose it's again, like you say, you put it all out there for the world to see. So you're expressing yourself in a way that's kind of therapy, isn't it? Especially if people are connecting with you and connecting with the songs that you're putting out there, like, oh my God, I've gone through a similar thing, or oh my God, I've experienced this as well, and stuff. But it's almost like you're connecting with people through your music.
Yeah, exactly, man. And just like being okay with like sharing the brokenness, because I think we all carry like some brokenness and like there's a weird kind of like peace in just like talking about it and sharing it, which I've found. So yeah.
How can I word this? Like, is it the experience you got through at the time? Like, or is it, oh my God, that happened to me 10 years ago. I need to write about this.
It's hard to explain, man, because it's not always like what I'd say it's rarely what I'm going through at the time. It's just always, there's kind of like little pockets of things I've experienced that are always there that I like. I don't know if it's because I haven't fully processed or understood them, but it's just, you go through life, you collect experiences and relationships with people, and it's like they're always a part of you. So it's kind of like, all right, like I'm gonna explore this one now, or it's just like there's more I need to understand about this, you know. So it's just, there's always something to sink into, man. It's never like I have to try to figure it out. It's just kind of like exploring the inner universe, because it's like there's so much in there. I feel like even in like a whole lifetime, you can never like get through it all. So
yeah. Oh, it's awesome. I love it. I love delving into these sorts of things and where people get there.
It makes sense. I don't know if my explanations make sense, but
yeah. They definitely do. They definitely do. And I hope people that are listening to this are resonating, going, "Oh my fucking God!" Yes, exactly. I'm doing the exact same thing. I've gone through this, or I've gone through that. Like, I need to go and check this. I feel that your music really resonates with people, like it did with me. So, for those that aren't aware, like I said, I discovered you in 2015, and a lot of your music from then on since has like helped me so much through life and stuff. It's like I say, because I was literally like, fuck, like I know what he's talking, like I can feel what he's singing about and what he's talking about. So let's get on to the brand new album, shall we? Let's delve into it. Obviously, Beneath the Roses came out last Friday. It's already out now for everyone to go and enjoy. Has it been well received?
Dude, it really has, man. And like I think a lot of times I'm not always like, looking at the reaction to stuff because it's just social media and everything. You can't really gauge, but genuinely, yeah, like it seems like people are really, just enjoying it and like comparing it to my older records, which I feel like even to me had a different feel, which I'm always striving for. So yeah, it seems like it is. And that makes me happy because it really is, I'd say probably my most like personal writings. So yeah.
Yeah, these were the first time in the studio, is that correct?
No, I've done studio like back in the day. But this one I had done most of like all the pre-production kind of myself, and then I went to work on it at a studio with my friend Matt Malpass and Matt Holmes, kind of in the mountains in Pennsylvania. So it was a really special vibe, kind of just being out there and like doing these songs there. So
nice, yeah. That's amazing. I mean, it's been a long time coming, this album.
Yeah,
I think every single track is, there's not, like I said at the start of this interview, there's not a bad song. You have never written a bad song. Every track on that album is different in its own way, and it's literally what I feel is the best album you've ever done.
Thanks, man.
So are there any particular favorite songs on there for you?
Yeah, I think Without You is my favorite, and October, it's a favorite too. It's just the songs that really just like resonate with me still, I guess. Yeah, those are probably the top two.
Yeah, I think I know I've told you this myself, but Without You it's definitely my favorite song on there. But I think it's definitely the best song you've ever done as well. I think from everything you've ever released, that I think because you can feel the raw emotion, you can feel like you can even feel the pain that you were going through at the time coming out in that track.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
I love a song that builds and builds and builds. I love those sort of styles tracks where it's like, oh, and it's like, oh, here we are.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I love the journey of that song, man. Definitely.
Absolutely incredible. But you've also dabbled a bit in a bit of EDM and some emo rap as well. Can we see any more of that coming along at all? Any more? Are you going to dabble a bit more in there?
Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of, like I did put out an EDM record under my name a couple years ago, and I've just always like messed around with that. But I've found that my favorite kind of genre of EDM is like the mid-tempo, like heavy bass, kind of like Rez, Death Pact and stuff. Like that's what I really enjoy. So I'm working on making like an EP of those. I don't know how long it's going to take me because it's one of those things where I work on it, every couple of weeks or something. But yeah, I plan to release an EP under a new project at some point just because I enjoy it. So yeah.
That's awesome. I like that you dabbling elsewhere as well. You're dipping your toes in other pools, just experience it. Like, oh, maybe I might try a dab, and maybe I might try a bit of this as well. Because then again, you can then intertwine it all and mix it in, and make a whole brand new genre might be born.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think the struggle sometimes for me with that is making sure it still feels like as authentic or like the same as my Say We Can Fly music, because it's easy to sit at a computer and it starts to just sound like forced or just kind of like, oh, it sounds cool, so that's why I'm just trying to take it a bit slower and just do it when I'm feeling it, so yeah.
No, absolutely. With Beneath the Roses, then, what sets that album apart from all the others?
Yeah, I mean, I guess every album is like, it's like a painting. It's like they're all different, and they're all kind of represent their own like world. And I've always kind of said this about like anyone's, creations, whatever art form it is. Like, I don't think like newer stuff is better just because you've gotten better at your craft. I just think everything has its own value. So like every album has its own kind of beauty and whatever. But I feel like this album, for me, is just like I've learned so much over the years about like production and just like how to compose and how to like write better like lyrics and just craft things more. So I feel like in that way it's my best work, like just more polished and kind of like to the point. So I was really happy with that, that aspect of it. So yeah.
You find that with records that I suppose because you've sitting them for quite a while, don't you? So I mean, is there such a thing as like overdoing it in a way? So it's like, oh, I want to just tweak that a little bit, or I might just take that out. I might just put that in just to make it sound a bit more like this. Like, do you think that's obviously when you sit something for so long that can happen?
Absolutely, man. That's part of why I went to like work at a studio for this one, because if I was just, and I do like a lot of my own production and mixing like here, but for that, because I wrote it as a piece, I was like, I need a deadline. I need a certain amount of space to do this, because otherwise that's going to happen. So it's like, we have 2 weeks, we got to do it. And it's just holding that vision of it and knowing it's going to get there. Because yeah, it is easy to overdo it. So I think you just got to trust yourself. And when you really think it's good, just leave it at that,
Yeah. Am I right in thinking you wrote a song on the spot? Make You Mine was on the spot and while you're at the studio?
Yeah, Make You Mine. I just picked up the banjo, went in the vocal booth, just wrote it in like 20 minutes, and we just recorded it. And that's happened on quite a few of my records, and which it's always fun, just throw it in there because it like fit with it. Well, it doesn't really fit, but I also feel like in a way it did, because I don't know. Yeah, because it's just like kind of this upswing and then it goes right back down, so yeah.
It's fantastic. I think that shows pure talent as well, because I mean, if I went to a studio and was like, you got 2 minutes to write a song, like, and then it'd probably be like, like, when people pick up a scarf and says like, ding, oh my lord, and then you move your hand a little bit up for another chord and go, ding.
Yeah. And sometimes, you can't, it just sometimes, and then sometimes it just flows, So
it's incredible. It's an absolute tune. It's a great song. It reminds me of Daisy for Beautiful Mess.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the same vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, Daisy Dew, sorry. My apologies.
I didn't even know that. I forgot it was called that. So.
I know you're looking to do a trilogy with these albums, because obviously you had Between the Roses, you got Beneath the Roses. Where did that idea come from? What made you want to do that?
I don't know. I mean, like I didn't. I think just because like the first record I released, Between the Roses, like that was my first full length record. And I feel like I created like just for myself like such a world with that record, like different colors and like visuals and like characters. Like it just took me on such a journey. I was like, I want to like continue that. I want to try that again from a different point in my life. With this record, that's kind of what I tried to do. Like I kind of tell people I wrote the same record kind of just from a different perspective in my life. So I don't know. I just like trilogies, I think there's one more chapter to be seen with that and close it off. So it just kind of feels like that's what I'll do.
Nice. No, I like it. But obviously because you released Blessed Are Those and Beautiful Mess in Between, so I don't know why you didn't do it like back to back sort of thing, or did you want to elongate it out?
Yeah, I just think I didn't even really have the idea till like not that long ago, a couple years ago maybe, or 3 years.
Okay.
So yeah, it was never something I really planned. It was just like, oh, that could be really cool, Just kind of thought of it. So
yeah, no, absolutely incredible. But You do have your own clothing line. You have
I
Stay
do.
Cozy Clothing. You literally have. I don't know if you have time to live or breathe or eat or anything with the list of accomplishments that you've got here. You have your own clothing line, which is staycozyclothing.com for anybody that's listening to us right now. You have your own YouTube series, which is obviously Dake and Tyke, about two gentlemen stoners. Dake and Tyke on YouTube. Go and check that out right now. You have your own podcast called Coffee Thoughts, where obviously it's whatever, because I know you're susceptible to a coffee, love a bit of caffeine, and obviously just whatever comes out, comes out. So, it would be about mental health, it would be about the state of the world we're in right now, about social media, etc. And you've also got a TV series coming up. You've got a pilot coming up for a TV series called Firelight, I believe, coming out soon as well.
Yeah.
What made you want to dabble into the more of the acting side of things?
Honestly, man, like I've always like acting in movies. Like since I was a kid, I've like been obsessed with movies and like acting. Like it's always been like maybe a deeper passion than music. Like I just think like it was never something I thought to pursue at all. But I think just as with the music, because it is kind of like creatively intertwined, and like making music videos, like playing characters in those, just something that I was just started to kind of really enjoy doing. And like I love editing, I love like cinematography, and I think part of it was like I got the chance to do like background work on a bunch of like Netflix shows and movies, like and just seeing how it all worked, like it just, I don't know, it just kind of naturally was like, yeah, I want to be around this more. And it's been a very slow burn, and I definitely haven't put like as much work into it as like probably could have, but I've started to take it more seriously and like just do more training. And like I don't know, man, it's just another way I just want to tell stories, because it feels different than music. I feel like you're able to like move somebody in a different way than with music, like with visuals. And like, so I just want to do that, and it's a little harder to, it's, you can't just sit down at your computer and make an entire like movie or something that like you can't with a song. So it's a lot more goes into it, but yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to doing Farlight, and yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. So.
Yeah, it looks great from the Instagram that's out there. It looks absolutely fantastic. So, but you've obviously written scores for a movie Cup of Cheer, and you've done it for a TV series as well, which is only available over obviously in Canada and in America. Was doing movie scores obviously is a completely different beast to doing an album. So, how different is doing that? Obviously, because most of it's just like instrumental, isn't it, more than anything else?
Definitely, man. Yeah, it's for Cup of Cheer, which is, if anyone doesn't know, it's a Christmas movie, and it was very like, and a score is obviously just the soundtrack for the film. So it was really like, the director wanted it to be kind of like Home Alone style, where it's like, the score kind of goes through the whole movie and flows with the scenes and the dialogue. So I just kind of try to look at it like it's an hour and a half long song, and it's just like hitting those points. And it was more just like finding a way to tell the story without words and just using melodies and sounds and stuff. So it was actually really cool. I think I said no at the beginning, because I was like, there's no way I can do this. Like, I just don't know how. But yeah, after doing it, it's just like, okay, it's kind of the same as writing a song. It's just a little more work and like, but yeah, it was a really good experience. Ton of work, but a really cool experience. So.
Yeah. And it's literally probably the best Christmas album available on Spotify right now. So.
Oh yeah. No, that was another thing too. Sorry, I didn't mean to like, oh yeah, it's the best, but like just another thing. It was cool to be able to release it as an album, like the score. That was kind of cool as well. So yeah, it is on Spotify. So yeah.
Available for all to enjoy. Music videos, Braden, and I mean like, because obviously you mentioned them about you get to play other characters in music videos. The whole production, the whole making of them, then love them or hate
them. I love it, man. Music video is one of my favorite things to do. Definitely. I mean, I don't do it that often anymore, but yeah, when I do it, I love it. So
because obviously they were very prominent in like the late 90s, early 2000s. I feel like music videos, there's so many channels dedicated to them. They told stories, or some people did a lot of live stuff, whatever. But I feel that as the years have gone by, they've dwindled off massively. And obviously, but YouTube's still a thing. Do you find that writing the stories has gotten more difficult in music videos, because obviously so many bands, so many acts have done so many of them now, but is there anything left to actually do, or would you rather do a live performance?
I think for me, I like rarely watch music videos from anybody for some reason. So I never think of it from that perspective. I think I just have a harder time writing stories because I'm so much more like particular now than I used to be, where it's just like I overthink it to the point where I can't even think of anything cool. But part of why I think I do them less personally is just because it is like a ton of work, you know, and if you don't have your own gear and stuff, you got to pay it, you know, like I've invested in my own gear, so I don't have to worry about that. But like paying someone to do it, it's just like the return on investment a lot of times now is just not that great, you know, because it's hard to get organic views, you know, on YouTube. And, you know, so I think that's part of it. It's just like the work versus return, where you could be spending your time and money elsewhere to get your music out there. But I think it is a cool, like when it's done right, you know, it really does complement a song. And yeah, I think it's great. So
Awesome. That's great. That's wonderful. You released 3 standalone singles, which was If I Have You, Always Love You, and The Lighthouse. Why did you not include them on the album?
Trying to remember. Lighthouse was on the Nosebleed EP, I believe. I think it was. Yeah. Was it the one with Trey Cyrus? Was that the one you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh no, you're right. You're right. It was. I don't know. Sometimes it just do that. I think it's just in the meantime. Sometimes you have like a song that doesn't quite fit with like a record, but you know still want to put it out, and it's just kind of like if you're working on a record or something, you know, and it's not done. So I think that was the case. That just like that was the whole story. Was like the one song. It didn't really fit with anything else. So that's a lot of times why I do singles.
No, absolutely. I like that you don't disappear for 3 years and come back with an album. They disappear. You're still constantly churning them out. You're still constantly working hard. And be like, hey guys, here's a new single. Here's something else I've written. Here's something. It's absolutely incredible. And then obviously when you're not doing music, it's like, right, what TV show can I be? What movie can I get myself involved in? Absolutely incredible. You just never stop. Basically, it's admirable. It's admirable.
Thank you.
I don't know if you can. I don't know how much you could talk about, or if you could talk about anything at all. But have you got any tours coming up? Are you going out on the road anytime soon?
Yeah, nothing I can say for sure, but I think I might be doing something in the summer, so that's what I'm hoping.
Yes, everybody's keep their eyes peeled. They'll keep everything crossed.
Yeah,
literally the lot. So what's next for you, my friends? Again, what you can talk about. What's the rest of the year looking like for Say We Can Fly and Braden?
Yeah, I mean, I have I got a bunch of collabs coming out. Like I do a lot of EDM collabs, you know, with producers, and you know, so I got some of those coming out. I got a new Say We Can Fly song dropping whenever those are done, probably like April or May. And then I'm gonna start releasing, try to do like just a song a month, you know, whatever I'm feeling. So a bunch of new music, and then yeah, obviously working on the Farlight pilot in May, and yeah, maybe some touring. That's pretty much all that's on the books for now. So
that's wonderful. Braden, this has been absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for taking the time to sit and chat with me. And everybody, Beneath the Roses is out right now. So go and find Say We Can Fly on Spotify and get involved. Do you have any social medias, any plugs, anything you want people to go check out before I let you get out of here?
I don't actually have the social media or the internet, so
no,
I'm just
fair.
All my social, just Say We Can Fly. You can check it out, check them out. So yeah,
wonderful. Like I said, everybody, Beneath the Roses is out now. Go and listen to it. Braden, thank you so much for taking the time out to sit and chat to me, and have a wonderful evening, sir.
Thanks for listening. Make sure you keep up to date with future episodes by subscribing to our channels. For more information on this podcast, or for all the latest music news, reviews, interviews and more, head over to our website www.therazorsedge.rocks.